Yo, welcome back to the Cap, episode 210, or what is it, 2102? How do you say it, RJ?
90210.
Oh, all right, my fault. In that
Cali.
90210. Anyway, that's RJ Levichin. I'm Nate Sperlin. And on this episode, we're talking about J. Cole.
And J.
Dropped his new
Cole.
project. We're talking about J. Cole, the off season, followed by J. Cole, the off season, and then we finish it up by talking about J. Cole, the off season. So tune in. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Verbal, YouTube, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Mad, a lot of it. We're on a lot of it, So yeah, check us out. Yo, welcome back to the Cap, episode 210, 210. I don't know. Here with RJ Levichin, 210. All right, my fault. Welcome back to the Cap. Let's do it again. Let's take it over. Welcome back to the Cap, episode 210. It's your weekly tour through hip hop here with RJ Levichin. I am Nate Sperlin. The soil has been fertilized, ladies and gentlemen. It was dry like last week, and J. Cole just gave us a gift of rain. So yeah, the soil has been fertilized. We're gonna see some plants in about a few weeks. The sun is beaming. It's starting to get warm outside. I mean, we're out here. Anyway, RJ, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man.
Farmer RJ.
How are you?
He's a farmer now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm good.
Yeah, man. It's a good weekend. Good drops.
Yeah, good.
Definitely we're blessed this weekend for sure.
Good drops and perfect way to end before we go on break.
True.
Yeah.
True.
First off, I wanna start off by saying congratulations to the GOAT, Russell Westbrook, for breaking the all-time triple-double record. He currently has 183 right now. The record was 181. Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't able to win that game when he got 182, but that's Scott Brooks' fault, and that's a different story for a different day. RJ, don't say anything, please.
In that same vein, man, congratulations to, Mike Breen, Tamika Catchings, KG, Tim Duncan, and the late, great Kobe Bryant for getting inducted to the Hall of Fame today. Big honors. A tough day for Kobe fans out there, but really happy, especially for Mike Breen, New York Knicks legend, color analyst, and some greats, the big ticket and the big fundamental, man. Some of the greatest power forwards I've ever seen, man. Hey, man, that bang, stop.
That's one of the most. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, and this is definitely going to be a unpopular take, but I like it when like Mike Breen announcing is amazing, but I prefer it when he says he shoots the three, puts it in versus bang. But that's just me. But I prefer it. But bang is heat too. But yeah, congratulations to everybody. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Because I feel like he does it. He does that for not the last shot. Like for the last shot, it's gonna be a bang.
Yeah.
But if it's like clutch shots, it's like puts it in.
Yeah, it's like because it just has that level of. Yo, like no matter what, like he forced it in there, like he forced that shot to go in, like type situation. Like no matter what happened, it was gonna go in. Like it just has that feel, and it's like, oh, look at Kobe take that 30-footer and knock it down. Like look at that, So yeah, but congratulations to Tim Duncan, the legend Tim Duncan, the legend Kevin Garnett, one of the best two guys who have arguments for the best power forward of all time. In that draft class. Obviously, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to Gianna as well. And shout out to Mike Breen. Also, I think for this year, Ben Wallace is going to be a Hall of Famer. Like this class is for last year for 2020. So for 2021, Ben Wallace is going to be a Hall of Famer, which is very important, very interesting. So
has it been announced?
Yeah,
they've announced it now.
Yeah, they announced that Ben Wallace is going to be in. But yeah. So yeah, congratulations to all the Hall of Famers. Congratulations to Russell Westbrook getting 182, and locking down that playoff spot. But yeah, let's get to some music. Before we get to some music, obviously, do us a favor, hit the like buttons and subscribe. You know, also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at OldMilk Media. It's up there. Like, it will be like right here. You know, so you can see it. Yeah, but first off, we have the project that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks is finally here. J.Cole's The Off-Season, 12 tracks, 39 minutes long, featuring 21 Savage, Moray, Boss, Lil Baby, and Black. I believe James Fauntleroy might have some vocals on there too, but I'm
really unsure.
Yeah, I'm not very sure about.
I looked it up. I don't think that it's him.
You don't think so?
It might be Boss.
Because on
I
Genius,
think that it's him, and they've worked together. Has Genius put James Fauntleroy? Because last time I checked, he wasn't there. Because
when I did the social media graphics about the releases on Friday, Genius said that James Fauntleroy was on the album, and now J. Cole updated the He updated the track list on Spotify, and James Fauntleroy isn't there. So
but
I'm not completely
he's one
sure.
Of those people. He's one of those people that doesn't like very rarely has his name like there, because he's a songwriter and he does background vocals, so he very rarely gets like the feature.
Yeah.
But I like on all JC songs and those types of songs, he like very rarely gets his name put there. But when I looked it up on Wikipedia and stuff like that, he was not on any of the things. Like I looked into his discography too, and he wasn't.
He's not there.
But I like hear his voice.
Yeah.
So I think
he's there. I'm fairly certain that he's there on that last track.
And because I remember like hearing it and being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna say about how like rock, like Jay-Z was like, nah, you can work with him. Don't worry, you got it. Got the Rock Nation wave.
Yeah. But anyway, we've been talking about this album for 2 weeks. RJ, what are your initial thoughts on J. Cole's The Off-Season?
No, I like it, but Nate said he has a lot to say, so I want to hear what he has to say. He said he has a lot to say.
All right. Just pass the ball back to me. All right, time to dribble.
Yeah, he got it. Because I was going to run the point, and he said he has a lot to say. So I was like, hold up, because Nate don't usually have a lot to say.
Yes, I do.
He don't have the ball.
I put the team on my back sometimes. Anyway, this team.
Your 2K team?
Huh? All of them.
Your 2K team, like your player?
All of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on the team, by the way. We have The Off-Season. I think I listened to it off first listen. It's a good project. I think my issue, you know what? All right, let's review it first. I like the fact that he has features on it. The production is good. It's not first thing I have to say, and this is just a straight up question. How do you think J. Cole's production has evolved since 2014 Forest Hills Drive? Because a lot of the beats on this project, it kind of feel like beats that we've heard before, or the same, like it's just very similar vibes throughout 4 projects. And it kind of like, it's clear from J. Cole rapping that he's hungry and he's here with the bars, and he had the rapping was great, but it's just the production sometimes doesn't really evolve in a way where it keeps me interested. And because of that, I'm kind of worried about playback value for this project.
I have that same question. I think it's a big reason why. Because I had a whole thing. I mean, I've been saying that it's going to be one of the greatest albums ever. So I guess I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I mean, I disagree with the fact. I think that he's had a different sound. I mean, through his mixtapes. Sideline Story.
Yeah, but I'm saying from 2014.
Like, if you think about it, that's what I mean. Is that even after that, like KOD, like Forest Hills Drive. I mean, For Your Eyez Only doesn't really have the same sound as KOD. So I think that this is a sound that starts with KOD. Because Neighbors is the only hard song on For Your Eyez Only. Hard song, like with 808s, like are like playing a very large part. KOD, you see 808s playing a much larger part throughout the project. This is another project where I expected a lot more boom bap, jazz, slow it down, and there was a lot more 808s than I expected. But what's weird is he didn't. My issue is KOD felt like a situation where he was like, I want to make a hit song. Remember when we were talking about T Grizzly? Yeah. T Grizzly was like, I'm trying to make a hit song. That's kind of what KOD was like. Every song's gonna be about something, but it's gonna be a hit. And you're like, yo, J. Cole, how you make hits about something? And then we listen to KOD, we're like, we don't want any of this. And then I feel like this is not the same mentality, but there were one of my favorite songs, probably "Let Go My Hand." That's a more low key song, and it's a slower vibe, and he's just kind of talking, and I expected that more, and I felt like he tried to go for him. 100 Mil is one of the worst J. Cole songs that he's dropped in a few years, and the beat is like okay, but he shouldn't even be making that song. There's no reason for him to do that. I don't know why he's saying so much as well as having singing features. I don't. Because some of the singing was good. Some of the singing was good though.
Yeah, because I think that you're talking about like 808s, and that's like more of like surface level. But I'm just mean like in terms of melody. Like there's components to a beat, and like the melody is usually that part where you don't really. There are times where you can't really you're not really paying attention to it, but like there are times that like when you actually hear it and you're actually listening to it, you start to appreciate the beat more. And I think that throughout from 2014 till now, the melodies just haven't been there. Like there isn't really layers to the beat. It's just like, okay, this is an 808 beat, and this is going to sound a little bit more trappy. Cool. What else? And like there's this is him where he's trying to rap and he's trying to say something. All right, it's gonna be more slow. It's gonna have a little bit more of a dreary vibe. Cool. What else? You know, like there isn't really many layers to the beat, and that's why I'm questioning like how. That's why I'm questioning the evolution in production, because like even when you go and look at Metro beats from 2016 to now, like the melodies are different. Like there's an evolution there. Even Pierre Bourne, there's an evolution in terms of melody, and there just isn't on J. Cole projects. And it doesn't really, because of that doesn't give me a reason to want to go back and try to pay attention more and try to listen more intently to understand the melody better, you know? And because of that might hurt the playback value.
I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree that there's a lack of melody in J. Cole music. I do think that he leaves more room for the rapping pocket so that the rapping isn't necessarily overpowered by the beat. Does that hurt playback value? For sure. But I mean, it's hard to say, but I think J. Cole, it feels more like a conscious decision. I don't think that melody is missing, but I think that he's not necessarily, he wants to be more, he wants himself to be the thing that brings you back, not necessarily the music, in my opinion. That's what I feel like, the type of mentality he has, just with the music that he's done with in the past.
But do you think, because there are times where we come in here and we're talking about rappers sliding and merging in with the beat, like the flow is very on point with the beat. Do you think that J. Cole has moments like that, where the beat and his rapping coexist together to create something beautiful? Or is it just him picking beats and him having a thought process of, no matter what, I am not going to be killed by this beat? Like, do you think that kind of, you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I see what you're trying to say. Okay, for our listeners, I think that what's important to understand is that there are a lot of different artists that approach music differently, especially depending on who you are and the type of rapper that you are, the type of artist that you are, who you're influenced by, and when you grew up, all these different circumstances. Atlanta artists and California and Southern artists in general right now, I think, are the best at gliding and merging with the beat and kind of making it all one and using their voice as an instrument itself. J. Cole, who is a wordsmith and poet and rapper first, I believe KOD into this album are two great examples of J. Cole clearly being in this, I want to work on the artistry aspect of my music. So the weakness of, things that you're talking about melody, whether that be J. Cole using his voice or relying too much on it rather than doing things musically, does make sense. But I feel like there are some artists where the playback value is supposed to be in the words, and that's actually what I'm missing personally, is that rappers, that Rich Niggas on Born Sinner is a great example of a song where the beat comes in and everybody knows what song that is, and then everyone in sync is like, I hate rich niggas, god damn it, like right there.
There's a lot of tracks on that project that are like that, because I can even say like Crooked Smile when the beat comes on and you're like you're hearing the TLC singing, and like you know what the first word is gonna be. So
yeah, and that's big. And I think that J.Cole also has one of the best versions of that being No Role Models. You know, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Like, that's the best example of an artist doing that and it working, and that clearly being one of J. Cole's things. I mean, his choruses are all one line.
Yeah, but
like not to, but on this project, I don't know if they hit.
Yeah, but not to get like too technical, but like even on No Role Models, when he says, "You the only father that I ever knew," the beat kind of picks up a little. So like that makes it more memorable to me a little.
Yeah, I know what you mean in the flow of the song. Yeah. But I still think that it's like it's this thing, like I don't want to get too deep into songwriting because I could go on that side, but I want to make it clear for our fans that there are different ways to hook you as an audience member that make the song memorable, and I think both me and Nate feel like that was missing on this project. Yeah. So sure. I think that I agree. I think it was missing. I think that J. Cole is, I mean, it's weird because I think he got the credit for it though. You know, Luigi was literally trending on Twitter for the, I put an M on your head, now you Luigi brothers now. Like it's, and all of the basketball bars, you know, John Moran, I'm on mine, Grizzly, I'm not retiring like Russell LeBron, Westbrook, and all, Rockabye, all those things where it was like just a reference. It wasn't even, that hard of a bar. It was just a reference. So, I mean, I think that for me, replay value, I have to watch it, because here's another thing, because I was going to talk about the replay value. That was also on my list, is that I don't want to say this too early. Is that there's a very good chance that the floodgates just opened and that J. Cole gets washed away, and he knows that, and that's the reason why the fall off is in the winter or next year. He's not really the off season. This is another reason we didn't even talk about this on right before we got into this. We were talking about Beam Me Up Scotty and Care Package and things like this. Feels like a project of like a better version of Untitled Unmastered. This feels like these are a bunch of songs. I wanted to give you a bunch of vibes, but I wasn't trying to be as meticulous as I could about it. Because I think that 100 mil doesn't make what I expect to be the level of the fall off. Like, I don't think that 95 South do you think our expectations are too high? I also wanted to get into this too early, but yeah. I clearly set my expectations way too high for the off season. Yeah.
I agree. I think that but the problem is that the interlude is one of the best songs on the project.
Yeah, when I heard the interlude and I was like, oh, this is the top half of the album. I was like, okay, well, that's an issue. But I saw other things. That's a single. It's like we were caught up in the narrative. Oh, the first single's the interlude, and that means that this is actually one of the weakest songs. So like we can expect like this to be the low bar, and it's like that's
that's literally the truth. Like
that was
the interlude,
main single.
Like that's literally the truth.
That was literally the main single. Yeah, but why did we treat it more like an interlude than the main single though?
Because literally on 99% of projects, except for literally this is literally the only project I can think of where the interlude isn't the song that's a break, if that makes sense.
I just think that we
like this is if I had been
smart and not paying attention, and I had been like, oh, yo, J. Cole dropped a new single. And I listened to it and I was like, oh, this is a good single. And then I had the mindset of it being in a single. And I didn't know the name of the song. Would have helped. Yeah. But just specifically because it was named Interlude, we were like, yo, J. Cole just dropped one of the best songs of the year, and it was only the interlude, and now the interlude is one of the better songs. Is that like here's the thing about expectations? Because I feel like you asked that same question last week. Is that J. Cole is next to Drake and Kendrick, and we've had conversations on and off air about this. Is that I believe that that Drake is one of the best individual song makers, and I think that Kendrick is one of the best album makers, and that J. Cole has to find a middle ground to continuously be on his level, especially when you drop a For Your Eyez Only that's not received well, and a KOD that's not received as well as he wanted it to. Because I think the KOD, it's like it was weird how it was received. It's one of those kind of like Views where everybody hated it when it came out, and then like 8 months later there was like a larger amount of people like, no, KOD was good. You wasn't listening right. Run it back.
Where was that?
He's done, because I think that some people are like, oh, Kevin's Heart is good. ATM was a song that people played. And like there was, and the Fall Off song. Because if you think about the hype for the Fall Off started at KOD. KOD dropped, and that's when the Fall Off started, and we were like, oh shit. That was the best song for me. That was the best song on KOD.
I think it also helps that Cole accurately predicted Lil Pump's career, and as we've seen it unravel, it's like, oh, Cole is onto something.
Yeah, but if you think about it when he said it, it was right before he does the interview with him. I'm pretty sure.
It was about a month. It was about a month apart.
And yeah, is that it was, to me, I feel as if J. Cole continuously set himself up to clearly be this impactful, great artist of his generation. Here's the thing for me. Is that Forest Hills Drive, I'm going to try to go through this. There's just so much to say. In my opinion, straight up, I'm not even going to give a reason. This is clearly his second best album that he's dropped. I think that this is better I looked through the albums. This is better than Born Sinner. This is second to Forest Hills Drive.
The off season?
Yes. This is just my opinion. I don't want to argue about that. I'm talking about from a grander.
I already shot my death stare at you. You got it.
Yeah, I saw it. Is that Drake has Take Care, and then there's If You're Reading This Is Too Late, and it depends on who you're asking whether people call it a classic. Depending on who you're asking, Views is also talked about in weird ways, as well as Nothing Was the Same. So that's Nothing Was the Same. If You're Reading This Is Too Late, and Views, I'll give all fringe classic albums, because they're not classics in like we all love them, but they've for some reason stood the stand of time, and people enjoy them, and even though they're still here. Is that J. Cole? I don't think that the same way about Born Sinner. Born Sinner didn't have the same longevity. Neither did Sideline Story. So with as good as the offseason is, I don't believe that even if he dropped an iconic best album of the decade or even the century, every song, there's not a single miss, there's not even no miss, every song is an amazing hit. If that's what the Fall Off is, unless it's 35 songs and it's still like every song, there's not a single miss.
I'm not listening to
I just don't see him finding his way to Drake and Kendrick's level. I just don't see it. I don't see where it happens. I don't see how it happens.
Yeah,
I don't see, especially with him taking all those years off with I don't want to do features. I don't want to have a feature. I just don't see J. Cole making good on him being the king of anything.
That actually leads me into another one of my points that I wanted to bring up. How much do you think that For Your Eyez Only and KOD hurt J. Cole's legacy?
I don't think that they hurt that much, because I would bring up albums like More Life and Scorpion. Is that, in my opinion, what hurt J. Cole is that J. Cole doesn't have that hit-making ability where a bad album is still saved. Mm-hmm. Is that when you look at Drake and every album that he's dropped and we're like, oh, we didn't really like this, it's More Life, he still has Fake Love. That's one of the biggest songs of the year. Views, he still has Control and One Dance.
There's always the one thing I will say. Yeah, the one thing I will say about Drake over his time is that there is always that one song in whatever album that is undeniably a smash hit.
and it's just played by everyone the
Yeah,
whole year.
it's just everywhere. Like you don't even have to queue it up on your own playlist or whatever. You're gonna hear it.
And that's the thing is that so we take that, and I'm not even mad because I don't see J. Cole as a pop crossover artist. I never saw him. So we take him out of that. We thought that maybe he could be there, so we're knocking him down a peg. Mm-hmm. You put him on the Freddie Gibb level. Mm-hmm. You put him on Absol level, right? Mm-hmm. People that are lyricists that have the ability to get a song that's on the radio, but they're really about the rapping. Is that I'm not saying that J. Cole isn't spitting. I mean, I think "Let Go of My Hand" and a few other songs are amazing, but the consistency that I expected out of this album is not what I got. I feel like I wanted J. Cole to put himself undeniably. It's these people and me, right? And I feel like J. Cole thought he did that, and I didn't think that he did that. And I love J. Cole, but I didn't think that he did it. And applying pressure, and he's like, sometimes you just gotta do shit in front of these niggas. I'm like, J. Cole, like, you're really wilding right now.
But at the same time, I think, even like when we talk about Future, and you talk about how sometimes his album, for example, I believe I want to say The Wizard. The Wizard is a good project, but because it doesn't really have the level of evolution from the last one, and it kind of sounds very similar to a few other Future projects, we kind of look at it differently. And I think that here with the off season, I'm gonna just say it. I think that if KOD and For Your Eyez Only didn't exist and he dropped this off season after 2014 Forest Hills Drives with the features and all that, we would be looking at this more favorably.
What I was gonna say is that if he didn't drop, say it was a situation where it goes Forest Hills Drive, right, and then For Your Eyez On, like it. Here's the thing, is that my issue with his discography is I feel like we're gonna be in a situation where the order was wrong. Mm-hmm. And our expectations were put too high too quickly. J. Cole also said this about himself.
I also think that
about himself. So
I also think that it's a matter of us as J. Cole fans feeling like he needs to make up for some of these projects in one.
I don't put that on him, because I think every great artist has songs that you like, and whether you don't like the album, it's about taking the songs that you do like.
Yeah, but I think it's just also the fact that we've said that he's comparable to Kendrick, and we've said in certain cases.
He said that.
Yeah, and
he's done the numbers he's done the numbers to be on that level.
But the one thing that sets Kendrick apart from him, and it's not close, is playback value. For you to be on that, yes, yes. Can you say
there was genuine playback value? And I don't. And I'm mainstream playback value, because if you're a hip hop fan, hip hop albums that are good, it's not about playback value.
But take out the mainstream, because even if you're a hip hop fan, For Your Eyez Only and KOD doesn't have that much playback value. Period.
To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn don't have as much playback value as you might be thinking, if that's what we're talking about.
I think the thing,
because both don't really have playback value.
I think the thing that helps Damn is the fact that you can play it in reverse order and still have a good album. I think that because that's something that people go back to and listen. They're
no, I agree. That was one of my favorite. That was my favorite.
And they want to go back and listen to it.
I listen to it backwards. I don't listen to it.
Yeah. So like, see, and even in that situation, you still find a way to have playback value from that album. Like you're still able.
Like I'm looking for different things when I listen to that project. And this, like, here's an example to the fans, and I'm giving it to the fans and to you. Mm-hmm. Drake playback value, J. Cole playback value, and Kendrick playback value are all different types of playback value. There are different things from those artists that, as a fan of those artists, that you want. They're like, this is one of my favorite Kendrick songs. That's why I'm gonna play it back. It's not the same thing.
Tell me more.
When Kendrick Poetic Justice is one of the most easily playback, like, you know, I'll play that again. In the same way that Drake's In Your Feelings is very easy to play back again. In the same way that No Role Models is a great song to play. None of those songs are not same in aesthetic. They're not same in sonics. They're not same in vocal executions. They're not the same in lyrical composition at all. But they're all specific to each artist. And they all bring something specifically to the table, to that song that's iconic to them. They make that song.
They may represent each artist's peak.
Yeah, well, not peak, but like one like this specific bag.
Like if you were to think about the perfect Drake song.
Yeah, like In My Feelings would be an example of that, and like Poetic Justice for that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
and I'll even say I'll a better example, especially because Drake is on my song. Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So it's like one of those
Money Trees. Money Trees.
Oh, all right, yeah, Money Trees. Money Trees. Yeah, great example.
Mad City, you kind of cut it off after.
Yeah. You're right. So, but like, all right.
Yeah.
All right
okay,
is
yes,
the same
all right.
thing.
Yes.
Is that like Kendrick's replay value has to do with not him just coming in with like cool sonics that sound good, but him also coming with bars that are memorable, as well as a delivery that's memorable, as well as like the background vocals that are memorable. Is that, you know, everything with Drake, it's the catchiness of the song, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the caption level lyrics. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're giving me powerful bars. You're giving me bars that like I would text a girl. You're giving me bars that I would put in my Instagram caption. And then with J.Cole, is that J.Cole's like, damn, this nigga's saying the most relatable shit I ever heard. And he put it on a fire song. And like that is the shit that, and like that, and it's iconic in that way, because like, oh, I've lived that life, like I've done that. This is something that I resonate with like easily. Is that those three things that be like the main thing, like us all being like I hate rich niggas, or us all being like first things first, rest in peace Uncle Phil, has to do with us all feeling that. Like us all, we all have to feel that, or it's not really the same in the same sense of like Kiki, do you love me? Like that has nothing to do with me feeling that. I don't know. Well, my cousin named Kiki, but I ain't gonna get that. not to cut you off or anything like that. But do you think that's a good point? But I think that, does that mean that J. Cole, like if we're saying that, and we're saying that the reason why we enjoy J. Cole's music as much is because of the relatability of it? Yes. Does that mean that he's not as relatable anymore? I think that that's the reason why. I think that he knew that, but I think that he knew that, and that was a big reason why For Your Eyez Only became a thing, because he was trying to be deeper and kind of remove himself from the stardom that Forest Hills Drive gave him, and he realized that that's not really, it wasn't for him. It was an artistic execution for something outside of his personal artistry. And I think that KOD was him trying too hard to be relatable. And it comes off. Come off as preachy. Yeah, exactly. No, it definitely. And we don't. And hip hop doesn't really like preachy things that much. And here's the big thing that they don't like. I'm not gonna speak about hip hop and saying not liking preachy, but here's the big problem that I had with preachy is that if Future dropped, I honestly think we might have even somebody said this. Like I feel like I've talked about this situation with someone else. Is that if Future dropped a KOD level album, it would be resonated with so much differently, right? Because you know that because like the song about cheating on his girl, or the song about being faithful, that hits so different. Because Future reflecting on his own yes, right? If you're talking about Future talking about, you know, lean and doing drugs, it means so much different. If you're talking about him and the jewelry and money, it means so much different, because that's his whole person. That was his thing. J. Cole ain't never really been like, J. Cole dropped Mr. Nice Watch. Like, I ain't gonna act like he's very much but he ain't never been like, even it's like an outside looking in type thing. But even so, it's like he's like his demeanor outside of his music, he's like, he hasn't been a flashy nigga for years. He was never a nigga that was like, I'm doing all these pills and I'm drinking, but he's never been that guy. He's never been the dude that's like, look at all this money I got more money. He's never been that guy. So getting on a song being like, guys, we don't have to care about money. Guys, we don't have to we know you don't care. We know. We know you don't care. Shut up. I listen to the Migos and their chains because I like Migos chains. Shut up. Why are you telling me this? Like, and that's the thing, is that J. Cole put himself in a position where it wasn't reflection on himself. It wasn't evolution. Look at this evolution. And like I've now changed. I want to tell the world that we don't need to drink lean and do pills.
He also has bars about how he would respect rappers rapping about how they're broke versus trying to stunt. And I forget which song it's on, but it's on the off season. And he has bars about that, and it's like, yeah, I agree with that, but
that was him though. That was him, the warm up and all that shit. That was him.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's one of those. You ever been in a situation where you have something to say, but you know you're not the person to say it because it wouldn't come off it would come off the right way if it came from you?
Yeah.
Like this might be J. Cole on KOD for sure might be the example of what
it's a great example. It shouldn't have been him.
Yeah, everything you're saying I agree with, but from you it's like kind of comes off as holier than thou, kind of.
But the problem is that there's not a single thing that J. Cole has really been known to overindulge in. For a single song on that album to feel like it makes sense. And when you have such a specific,
I mean, they make sense, you just don't feel it the same way.
No, but that's what I mean, is that
because they make sense.
It feels like an educational album when you're in it, when you're hearing it from someone who isn't speaking from their own experiences. Because that's also a big part of rap, is that Kendrick talks about his life. Drake, I mean, we don't know if he's being truthful, but like it seems like he's talking about his life a lot of the time. Is that J. Cole is also that guy. So KOD being an album where he's talking about a bunch of things that we know he doesn't really align himself with is also out of J. Cole character as well. Because you're like, wait, this is not even you. So why are you even doing that?
I think that point is very important, because I think that it's also, now that I'm thinking about it, that's also probably the reason why I enjoy For Your Eyez Only more, because it's from the standpoint of someone he was close to.
Right.
So you can understand that, and it's like he might have been around for a lot of those situations that he's rapping about. You know, he didn't experience them himself, he witnessed them firsthand. And KOD isn't that same situation. So But yeah, I see what you're talking about with that.
But to go back to your original statement, and we've gone on a bunch of rants. I don't even we might not even have to talk about 21. Is that if we were in a situation where, and this is very off, because I also think that he got, we've talked about how you like Born Sinner, you think that it should be considered a classic, and I think that it was J. Cole's own fault that he set it up to not be a classic, because he was trying to put himself against a guy like Kanye West at a time where Kanye West was experimenting artistically, and even a hitter like Yeezus' wildness and the way that it took the music business off guard is the reason why I would have never, ever, ever dropped the same time as Kanye, because Kanye is going to be the topic because of the artist that he is. He's also going to be the topic because the music that he drops is going to be enjoyed by people, and all of it just like encompassed, as well as it being if it was like a regular Kanye West album, like okay, maybe like, oh, we just love it, but it was experimental and it was wild and he was saying wild shit, and so we had to. And that just takes away from the attention that J. Cole would have garnered if he had dropped, even like 2 weeks earlier. But at the same time, say it was a situation where Born Sinner gets the respect it's supposed to, and we don't go on the Forest Hills drop. We go straight into For Your Eyes. Like it's like he's more open with the situation that leads to For Your Eyez Only. Takes a break. For Your Eyez Only drops. KOD drops. And then we go into the off season, right? And we go into the fall off. The fall off is some crazy shit, and then the final album of his career is Forest Hills Drive. Forest Hills Drive will probably be one of the best albums that has ever dropped in hip hop.
No,
I bet you, because I think that Forest Hills Drive is going to still. I'm worried
because I
said what I said right just now, because I'm worried that Forest Hills Drive will still end up being the best album of his career.
Mhm.
And I think that if that is true, if the fall off is not a better album than Forest Hills Drive, then I think his career will literally only be deterred by when his best album dropped.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that KOD hurts his legacy. So you saying I don't think that we would have received 2014 Forest Hills Drive the same way if it comes after KOD.
Yeah. See, this is the thing is that I think KOD was the first song where he's using 808s and he's doing all the singing, and that's when he really started introducing a lot of different musical aesthetics. Is that if we get Forest Hills Drive after that, it's finally this artist went back to what worked with Born Sinner. And not only did he go back to it,
but don't you think that would be too little, too late?
It work even crazier. And the way that hip hop works, I'm not sure. Because here's the thing. Because even Born Sinner had hits. Mm-hmm. For Your Eyez Only wouldn't have had the hits, but it would have had Neighbors. Neighbors still would have been a hit.
Yes.
So Neighbors still would have yeah. So he still would have had relevance. It's not like we'd be like, oh, he dropped the trash album, I don't care about J. Cole. So he would have been watching for him. KOD, it would have been ATM, right? ATM happens, and maybe the Kevin's Hart song like gets him different respect because of the idea with the Kevin Hart thing, right? And the fall off would have been like, oh shit, so J. Cole's about to get back into his rapping bag. He would have kept us in. He would have kept us locked in. Would he have the massive fan base and world touring level fan base that he has now? No, clearly not. Would he have been able to stay relevant for us to have been checking for the off season and then checking for the fall and then checking for Forest Hills Drive? Be like if it, in a different timeline, definitely. I think that he would have had our attention.
No,
if Big Sean had our attention, J. Cole certainly has our attention. Certainly.
This is. Certainly. I'm not so sure about that, but do you think this is my last point? And I think we talked a lot. I see. I put the team on my back. Look at this. Put the team on my back. Do you think that the feature component to this is a little too late? No, but I also think that it wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. I think Roddy Ricch should have been. So you think it's just too little? He stole his flow, and I think that there are situations where it's like you don't need to be singing on this. Like I know the artist that should be singing on this, and you should have had that person do it, and then you could have rapped. I think that and that's what I mean is like it feels in a similar vein to KOD in the sense that there were some situations where like was this an experiment? Or did you like was this a vibe that you thought was really good, or were you trying to test this out? And I also think that my expectations had to come down. But I mean, for me, the Maury, I think his name is right. His name is Maury. Moray. Yeah, I think it's Moray. Is that I like his feature, but then 21 Savage comes on, and then you're like, especially as like the first rapping feature, like the first 10 seconds is you. Oh my God, 21 Savage features. That means the whole album could have features, whatever. You're hype, and then you're like, oh, this is a lot part 2. And then, because I listened to every song twice, the first time that I went through, I was like, all right, I'm hyped, but now my excitement is there. Now I'm going to listen to it again. You go listen to a lot. And I don't know why they tried to do that again, because a lot was so good that they were never going to top it. So it was always going to be like, oh, you're just doing that again. And I don't think that they needed to do that. But I think it was a waste. That was a wasted feature. But I think that also might tie into, and I just thought about this. J. Cole doesn't really go out his comfort zone that much, if at all. I disagree with that. Because he's singing. But he's singing on beats that he knows he could sing on. Yeah. Like I don't knowing that he can sing on is not because here's what I'm saying, right? On a lot was the first time we heard 21 Savage rap on that type of beat. Yeah. And that's a J. Cole type beat. That's a beat that if it was on for Sales Drives or whatever, we would have been, oh, okay, this is J. Cole doing his thing. All right, cool. Where's the point where J. Cole raps on a beat and it's like, really, this one? And then it works. That's what I mean by staying in his comfort zone. And that goes back to the original.
Didn't he do a Moneybagg Yo song though? Did he? Moneybagg Yo song? I think so.
But I mean on his own project.
That's what I mean.
Because you can do that.
Like KOD comes on, like the intro. I don't remember what the intro sounds like. I'm pretty sure that it's not even really a song like that. Mm-hmm. But KOD comes on, and I was like, oh shit, this is not what J. Cole be doing. This is not a J. Cole type beat.
But it wasn't.
It's like J. Cole uses 808 so little in his old music. That in my opinion is him singing.
That's such a low
808 beat is
that's such
new.
A low bar. That's such.
I don't disagree with you. You asked me a question. Mm-hmm. My answer is KOD comes and I'm seeing one of the best lyrical rappers of his generation not just get on an 808 heavy beat. I watch him get on it and sing. And I'm like, okay. Now, your question was, when has J. Cole done that and it hit? I don't have an answer for that. I genuinely don't. There are some songs where he sings and I'm like, oh, this is a good song. There's sometimes where he sings and I'm like, oh, this is not a good song. But is there a situation where he has clearly gone outside the J. Cole box and shot, for something completely out of his realm? I haven't seen him do that, and I haven't seen him do it successfully. But if you're considering J. Cole's original box and his original bar of jazzy beats, I'm spitting hella bars at you, is that his last two albums where he's trying to be have more fun, do more singing, that is him experimenting with his sound in that level. He didn't use 808 beats like that now. So I think that those are circumstances of new beats.
I mean, you agree to it, but I think that's a low bar. I just mean, just from a standpoint of something completely different. Like even when he's on those 808 beats, it's like, it's still something where it's something that it still has the feel of a J. Cole beat. Like, it still has the feel of a J. Cole song. It's just like, okay, you just put 808s over it.
I agree with that. I think
like there isn't anything.
J. Cole wants that though. Like, I'm not necessarily asking him to go out of his comfort zone.
But I'm just saying, ask him to like more. That would make it more. Going back to the original point about playback value, that would make it more. Like, it would have more playback value that way.
I just don't. I think that's where all this has kind of stemmed from, is that I think that we're rightfully so for a guy like J. Cole, who is big enough that when his album drops, a lot of the people consuming it are playing it over and over and over again. Is, as I said, I'm gonna double down on it. I'm very worried for this album being thrown into the ether because of what I feel like this year could be. Now, that being said, I'm going to stupidly double down on what I did last time and have my expectations equally as high for the fall off whenever that comes, whenever the rollout starts for that. I mean, you're going to hear me saying that this is going to be the best album that you've ever heard in your life. I'm going to stick on that until I hear it and I make the decision that it's not. Mm-hmm. What I will say is, we've been waiting for that album. We're going to have probably been waiting for that album 4 or 5 years. 3 to 5 years. If it drops this year, it'll have been, I think, 4 years. Mm-hmm. If it, but it could easily be, down the line. I have no idea. It's supposed to be his retirement album. If his retirement album isn't a classic, if his retirement album has a single skip on it, I'm going to be upset.
That's problematic.
That's the bar, though.
Yeah.
That's the bar.
But at the same time,
he set that bar for himself.
Okay. Because I was about to say, like, if we might be getting into a situation where we might be having too high of expectations again.
That's what I have for off season. There are skips on this song. There are songs that the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is a good song. I'm not gonna listen to it a lot. I have not played the off season from the intro since probably like the fourth time listening to it through. I haven't played the intro. I start with Amari. Amari's one of my favorite songs.
like him. All right. So do you want to? I think we can close this out.
Well, yeah. What's your final thoughts on the project, as well as who you think, what your favorite songs are, and whether you think what its status is for album of the year is right now.
All right. Final thoughts is I think it's good. I think it's better than KOD and For Your Eyez Only, which is something that is encouraging. He's trending in the right direction, but at the same time, it's kind of shaky. If this is, it's not the album of the year for me. It just isn't. Coda the Friend and Static Selecta To Kill a Sunrise is still the album of the year for me. I think that project is much better than this. As for my favorite songs, Amari, My Life featuring Moraine, 21 Savage, Interlude, and Hunger on the Hillside. What I will say is that Outro is one of the best J.Cole songs I've heard since 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Outro?
Yeah. Hunger on the Hillside is crazy.
Okay. My final thoughts are it's a good album. I agree with Nate. It is his best album since Forest Hills Drive. He is on the uptick, as although it did not hit my expectations. There are a lot of great J. Cole songs that I'm going to be playing for a while. I am worried about the replay value, but that is going to be based on who drops in the future, when they actually drop in the future, as well as whether people get sick of it. I think it's not the album of the year. I want to see whether people try to make it, because people have already said it. I think that there's a J. Cole stands. I just want to see, when more people get acclimated to it, how they talk about it. Because because there's not enough albums, it's kind of hard to say. But I don't think that it has a good shot of it staying in the number one space. If I were to say it was the number one space,
it's Static Selecta and Coda the Friend produced it. It's just better.
No, I mean, yeah, Static Selecta did his thing. But my favorite songs are, one shout out to Amine, T minus you dirty for using his beat twice. But Pride is the Devil is a good song. Shout out that Lil Baby verse. I know that all of us, when Lil Baby came on, was like, Lil Baby?
I thought he did all right.
Lil Baby? No, either way, I think that he glided, but I think that just like the fact that he was on it. Boss. Oh man. Like best supporting actor, whatever version of that needs to come. That needs to pull up to hip hop, because he was the best supporting artist on this project for sure. And I'll Let Go My Hand is the second favorite song, and then man, it's between. Because I'm not going to include the songs that I already knew about. So it's between Close and My Life and Amari. And right now, the order is Amari, Close, My Life.
Okay.
But that's just the order right now.
No love for the outro?
No love for the outro. The outro is a good song. I think the intro is the worst song.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to hear Cole rap like that, but then there just being no hook and just having
Punching the Clock could have been a better song.
Yeah.
Punching the Clock deserved to have features.
Yeah.
And then J. Cole's verse, then J. Cole doesn't have to rap for 2 minutes on nothing if he's not going to do a hook. Applying pressure, you did not apply enough pressure. That's just period. If apply, I don't know who you were applying pressure to. And that's the thing.
Cole.
That's the thing. Last thoughts. Here's the thing. J. Cole has talked about how much better he is than other rappers for a while. The problem is we have always agreed. So his bar has been higher, which means that if years after setting that bar at the top with just the people in the lineage of hip hop, the people that have come before him, if he said that's his competition, he not shooting shots that's going to hit that competition. He gonna destroy anybody that's coming up now. Niggas on that lyrical level not even coming up. J. Cole, we know you better than these niggas. I know you better than Lil Pump. I knew that. We all knew that. Any nigga with brains and common sense knew that. The bar is different, J. Cole. And while I think it's gonna happen, the fall off has to be shooting for niggas like Biggie, all the niggas in Wu-Tang. That's who we gotta be shooting for.
I ain't hear J. Cole get a hit off of C&D roast 100 times.
I'm tight because that 100 mil, he gonna get a platinum record for 100 mil, and it's all gonna be LeBron James streams.
Oh my God. Anyway.
LeBron James farm streams.
Oh God. Anyway, this has been The Cap, episode 210. That's RJ Levichin. I'm Nate Sperlin. Thanks for listening. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Follow OldMilk on Instagram and Twitter at OldMilk Media. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. We're not back till June, so it's gonna be hot when we come back. We off for 2 weeks. So see you in June. Thanks for listening. Yeah, we out.